When it comes to talking about jobs or salaries, it's all about being confident and comfortable with yourself. Now more than ever, you need to understand what your worth is and how to get it. I'm Carmen Perez, and this is Getting Rich. Today, we're going to be talking about what you're worth, or to put a finer point on it, asking for what you're worth. Whether you're well into your career or you're just interviewing for your first job, negotiating is a necessary skill in the workplace. Factor in the gender and racial wage gaps, it's more important than ever to get comfortable talking about numbers. It can be really hard to advocate for yourself. So today, we're going to be speaking to an amazing woman who's going to give us tips on how we can actually get what we're worth. Leanna, welcome to the show. This episode is all about getting what you're worth, and I hear you are an expert around that. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I have a very long background in history in finance. I've been working in the industry since I was 19. And I also wrote this book a few years ago called Young, Fun, and Financially Free. And the book teaches really young people or anyone all of the money 101s, adulting 101s, and just all the major things that you need to know in your life, which all goes back to getting what you're worth.
So let's dive into that actually.
Well, before you can get what you're worth, you have to know what you're worth. And when we're talking specifically about careers, jobs, and income-making opportunities, you really have to do your research. What is your potential worth and income opportunity in that field? Go to salary.com, Glassdoor. There's tons of these transparency websites. Go to LinkedIn. Find people that have the job that you want or that the job you currently have if you're not sure if you think you're getting paid as much as everyone else.
I love that advice. What are your top tips for negotiating, say for someone that is just starting on the job hunt or even for somebody that's looking to get a raise? What are some of your top tips for negotiating your worth?
So first off, I would actually say that even though it's so great that in this day and age, we have a lot of those salary transparency websites, I would actually say that a lot of those undershoot some of the roles, because I've looked at different roles on these types of websites and seen, okay, I know people that are in that job and they make more money. What you should really do now that you've done your research, you have sort of a range of what you think this job might pay. Start near the high end of that range or even within 10% above it. Don't be afraid. That, I would say, in the negotiations of money, that is the biggest point of courage, is when you have to throw out that first number. I would say do anything you can to try to get them to put a number out first. But if you can't, shoot higher, not too high, so you feel confident that it might be possible to get that. You have to pull the courage out of you and know that it's going to be worth the risk.
So if you could give any parting tip, if someone watching the show could take one piece of advice from any of and all of what you've just said, what would it be?
It's really about, number one, you have to know what you're worth and you have to ask for it. No one's going to give you a raise. No one's going to give you a better job. No one's going to give you a promotion unless you tell them you want it and you ask for it. And your network is your net worth. 100% believe that. There was many times when I reached out to people on LinkedIn. I said, hi, it looks like you have a great job. I would love to connect with you and learn more about what you do. Taking them to coffee, taking people to lunch, paying the bill, showing my respect for their time, showing up on time. It's really, really important. Your network is your net worth, 100%.
I love that. There are so many gems in that. I really, really appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I love being here.
Here are some hot tips on getting your worth. If you're going to get the pay you deserve, it's critical to know the going rate in your area. You can do this by going to websites like PayScale or Glassdoor, or better yet, by asking others in your field. Bonus points if you can ask both men and women so you can get a sense of the pay gap and avoid falling into it. Once you've learned the going rate for your job, you now have a range you should fall into. It's good to ask for the top of that range because you either get it or you can negotiate from a comfortable starting point. If the potential employers are trying to lowball you out of that established range, be willing to walk away. It's not easy and it takes a lot of guts, but once the adrenaline wears off, you're going to be so proud of yourself. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you learned a lot, and I want to be the first to say, I encourage you, I believe in you, and you've got this.